Katie, what's wrong? Why'd you call me in a panic?
Come sit.
Okay. What's going on?
Monica, I've had a breakthrough.
What are you talking about?
The time machine.
Not that thing again. Wow, it's working.
Stop complaining, it worked, didn't it?
Katie, if I remember correctly, we got stranded in the Great Depression, and we had to do the Harlem Shake to get back home, okay? Do you know how embarrassing that is?
This one's new and improved. Nothing like that's gonna happen again.
Katie, I'm telling you, we should not do this, okay? Alyssa and Paige both needed therapy.
And whose fault was that?
Your fault, Katie. I'm telling you, this is not a good idea.
Well, we need information for extra credit project.
Why don't we, I don't know, do something a little less risky and use the computer?
That's too boring.
Katie, I'm not getting sucked through the wormhole of time and space again to get arrested. No, I'm not doing it.
You don't understand. This one's so much better than the last one. We can choose where we want to go.
Katie, that doesn't even matter.
Well, what if we could go into the White House and interview people?
We would get arrested.
It's worth a shot.
No, it's not, okay? I do not want to go back in time.
Nothing's gonna happen. Hey, you know what else this one can do?
What?
I don't need you to touch it for us to be transported.
What?
January of 1992 in the Oval Office, here we come.
No! What the heck, Katie?
There seems to have been a malfunction. Must have been the foam core I put in the center of the time machine.
I'm a puppet. I am two-dimensional.
Puppet or not, we can still get this project done.
Shh. I hear footsteps.
It worked. It actually worked.
Katie,
There are people here.
I see that. Who are you and why are you here?
Well, you see, we have this time machine and
We just have some questions for you. Do you have press passes?
Absolutely. Now, can you tell me how your presidency is going? Any big accomplishments lately?
Well, in domestic affairs, I've helped the unemployed gain some much-needed benefits. I also work to increase federal spending for education, childcare, and I advance technology research.
We're going to have the best educated American people in the world.
I can see that.
I was also able to pass the Clean Air Act Amendment of 1990 after the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska.
It isn't pollution that's harming the environment. It's the impurities in the air and water that are doing it.
Isn't that the same thing?
How about foreign affairs, Mr. President? How are things there?
Very good, actually. In 1989, I attended a conference in Malta, and just last year I signed a strategic arms reduction treaty with the Soviet leader Gorbachev. Now the Cold War is officially over, the Soviet Union collapsed, and there is a new president of Russia. However, it didn't start out that way. It started with that nasty business in China.
What happened?
There was a protest in Tiananmen Square that ended in a massacre. Terrible business.
The loss of life will be irreplaceable.
What about the situation in the Middle East?
The global importance of the Middle East is that it keeps the Far East and the Near East from encroaching on each other.
Yeah, in August 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait. The United States sent troops and supplies to help Kuwait with their crisis. I am extremely thankful to say that the threat was neutralized and Kuwait is free.
That's great. Any plans to running again?
I plan to, although I think my broken no new taxes promise will hurt my campaign.
We're all capable of mistakes, but I do not care to enlighten you on the mistakes we may or may have not made.
Well, I think it's quite enough for our publishers. Yes. Thank you, sir. Our publishers will be very pleased to hear this.
See, no one got arrested. Now it's with the next president.
Fine. The faster we get this done, the better.
We have to keep it a secret.
Okay.
Surprise!
Katie, you idiot!
Who are you two? We just have a few questions for you for a school project. First of, who's she? Oh, she's just an intern here. No one important.
Excuse me?
You know what I mean.
Where is your Secret Service?
This is a highly private matter. Oh, I get it now. She's Monica Lewinsky, the woman who had the affair with.
No. Sorry, she's crazy. But would it be okay if we asked you a couple questions?
I guess I can answer some questions before security comes to show you girls the way out.
See, Katie, I told you we'd get arrested.
So how's your presidency going?
This is your second term, right?
Yes, in my first term I had many successes, such as the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993. I also started a healthcare reform plan which was headed by my wife Hillary.
You said you wouldn't mention her.
Oh, right, sorry. I also implemented the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy in the military. Also, the North American Free Trade Agreement was signed into law in 1994. So what about your second term? Going smoothly so far? So far, yes. I usually beat Bob Dole and Ross Perot in the 1996 election, and I was just voted Time Man of the Year.
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment. Now can we please get out of here and go back home?
Calm down. I just have one more.
What's wrong, Mr. President?
Nice meeting you, Mr. President. Gotta go.
Whoa, that was really fun.
Actually, it wasn't at all. Now let's get back while we still can before we end up in prison.
What about-
Again.
But what about the other presidents, Bush and Obama?
Katie, let's just get back before the time machine breaks. I know it's going to break. I just know it. These things always happen to me.
Monica, we need this information, and if you don't come with me to 2008, then I will leave you here.
Fine, but we're getting the information and leaving. But we are not splitting up. I refuse to go searching the White House if you decide to wander off.
Okay. What security? Wait, we just want to ask you some questions. Well, I'm very busy right now. In case you weren't aware, our country is in the midst of a financial crisis as well as a war on terror. Wait, are you terrorists?
No! We just need some answers for our history project.
Mr. President, we can't start until the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development arrives. He's still stuck in traffic. ETA is in 20 minutes.
I guess I can't answer some questions until he arrives. How was your first term as president? Hope it was better than your dad's. Well, after 9/11, I created the Department of Homeland Security to make sure that our country is secure. I also signed the Patriot Act that allowed for legal phone taps, surveillance, and arrest of suspected of being a terrorist. I also sent troops to Iraq.
What did you do domestically?
I signed the No Child Left Behind Act, which requires states to develop assessment and basic skills. States must give these assessments to all students at select grade levels in order to receive federal school funding. I also enforced tax cuts and provided Medicare that gave prescription benefits to the elderly. What about your second term? Almost over, right? Yep, I got reform legislation passed for the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation and the Federal National Mortgage Association. Government-sponsored enterprises created an FDR's New Deal to try and help Americans pay their mortgages.
You mentioned a financial crisis? What is that all about?
The United States housing bubble burst, causing a slew of problems. Mortgages went up and loans increased, and people just couldn't pay back what they borrowed. This caused massive foreclosures and the global economy collapsed. My advisors told me that the failures in financial regulation played a big role in this recession that we're in now. That's terrible. How are you planning on combating this? One of the very difficult parts of the decision I made on the financial crisis was to use hardworking people's money to prevent there to be a crisis. Wow, that sounds really interesting. What about foreign affairs? Well, American troops are still in Iraq. The situation there, it's not very good. I'm working on a new plan of action there. Also, we're involved overseas in Afghanistan, and there have been unconfirmed reports from the CIA about missile tests in North Korea. An issue I plan on asking the CIA to confirm, and Stephen Hadley, the U.S. Security Council member of the United Nations, to address this threat.
Wow, you're really dedicated to this war on terror.
Ever since that tragic day, September 11th, 2001, the death of more than 3,000 Americans and the destruction of democratic symbols, I've made it my mission to keep this nation safe from evil. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. Wait, that doesn't even make sense.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's finish this so I can go back home.
All right.
I'm actually surprised there hasn't been a problem with this new time machine yet.
That's obvious because I invented it. Everything I invent works perfectly.
Sure. The last time we got stranded in the 1930s because of a time machine obviously wasn't your fault.
It wasn't. You see, I calculated the trajectory using the physics formula for
Let's just get out of here, Katie. I'm hungry.
Okie dokie. 2011, here we come.
Stop, Katie. Don't touch touch it, you'll get arrested.
Lighten up, it's just a dog. Oh, you're such a pretty puppy. Bo.
It's the president's dog. It's the first dog. You can't just pet it. I'm sure there's a law against it.
Oh, look at his little squishy face.
Who's there?
Hello, Mr. President. We were just petting your dog.
Are you my daughter's friends?
Oh yeah, we were just wondering if we could ask some questions for a project.
Alright, girls, but make it fast. I have a speech to deliver in 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, how are things going in the country?
I believe they are going, quite well. I repealed the don't ask, don't tell policy in the military, and I also changed NASA's direction from human spaceflight to unmanned missions in space. I am the first president to openly support same-sex marriages, and I also reinstalled solar panels for the White House.
Wow, that's really amazing. How is the economy under your presidency?
In 2009, this country's economy was really bad. We were in a recession, and it wasn't getting better. I signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, a $787 billion economic stimulus package aimed at helping the economy recover from the deepening worldwide recession. What this did was increase spending for things like healthcare, infrastructure, and education. There were also various tax breaks and incentives with direct assistance to individuals.
I heard that you had big plans for the healthcare system in America. Can you tell us about them?
I believe that all Americans should have health care. No one should be without proper health care in a first world country. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, is the reform that increases the rate of health insurance coverage for Americans and reduces the overall cost of health care.
What can you tell us about the foreign affairs of America at this time?
Well, on May 1st, 2011, this country had, in my opinion, its greatest success in the war against terror. The death of Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden was a huge achievement for the American people. I also increased our troops in Afghanistan, but took many troops out of Iraq. Our alliance with Israel was also strengthened under my presidency.
Mr. President, the press is waiting.
Well, girls, I hope that helps you with your project. Come, Bo.
Bye, puppy.
Okay, that's everything. Let's go back now.
But the puppy.
That wasn't really as bad as I thought it would be.
No one got arrested. Katie didn't get lost. There were no scary gangsters. I mean, everything went smoothly. It's a miracle, Katie.
Katie? Katie!
Come on, Katie. Let's go home. You have your own puppy to play with.
Oh, okay. Okay, all set. 2013, here we come. 2013, here we come.
Katie, nothing happened.
2013, here we...
Katie, it's broken.
Maybe if I just reboot the phone. Well, the only way to generate enough power to spark the flux capacitor would be
What? Tell me, Katie. I want to go home.
to do the Harlem Shake.
No. Give me that.
We're back. There was no way I was doing the Harlem Shake again, Katie. Katie? Katie!
Hello? Hello? What? Puppy?
Con los terroristas.
Katie, what's wrong? Why did you call me in a panic? The time machine! I crushed it.
I can't get back up. I got it. I can go life alert. I've fallen and I can't get up. Alright. The phone fell off. It doesn't want to be a time machine. It just,
My phone.
It just wants to be a phone.
It's a rebel.
No. Just suck it up. Be a big girl with your big girl diapers because you're a big kid now.
Katie, I didn't tell anybody about that.
Shut up.
Channel your inner Forrest Gump.
Mom always said life's like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're gonna get.